Welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today I am making a fun, feminine, swirly soap for my sister. She requested a girly soap, and so I was thinking about what I wanted to do. You know I love swirls, so it's going to have to be really extra swirly, and I was thinking of girly colors and fragrances. So the fragrance we're using today is from Wholesale Supplies Plus. It's Blood Orange, and it's just a really juicy, sweet fragrance, and I thought it just felt summery and wonderful. And so for the colors, let's talk about that. From Nurture Soap, and this is called Nurture Handmade now. Hollywood Pink. This is a beautiful, rich, saturated, beautiful, like fuchsia type pink. Love it. And then to go with that, I have a Sexy Pink Slippers from Wholesale Supplies Plus. So those two are going to complement each other. And then for a little pop to give this some dimension, I wanted to add yellow. So Sunday Fun Day, Wholesale Supplies Plus. So those three colors swirled in this. The blood orange fragrance discolors to a little yellowish tinge. So I'll use some titanium dioxide in the uncolored portion just to keep things on the brighter side. But that's the plan. And we're just going to do lots of colors, lots of swirls. It's going to be beautiful. It smells juicy and summery. So that's what we've got going on today. I'm doing a new recipe, which I will be sharing down in the description box below. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do. It sends YouTube the message that you're enjoying my content on their algorithm, which the whole algorithm universe is beyond me. But anyway, I appreciate you being here. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into some soap making. All right, we're back and we are going to make just a quick, I'm not going to go step by step, but my lye solution, this is half water, half aloe vera, and I have 28 ounces or 794 grams of liquid altogether. I have dissolved 2 tablespoons of sugar in here. I'm about to throw my pinch of silk in. And again, this doesn't have any weight. It's about the size of a small cotton ball. I'm going to throw it down in there, and here is my sodium hydroxide, which is lye. I have 14 ounces or 397 grams of sodium hydroxide. I'm going to add this in here, stir it. It's going to get real hot. When that's all said and done and started to cool, I'm going to come in with my sodium lactate. You use sodium lactate at a rate of 1 teaspoon per pound of soap, oils, I guess. 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. This is going to be a 100-ounce batch, so that's roughly just over 6 pounds, 6.25 pounds. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of sodium lactate in here after this starts to cool down. So I know that's kind of fast. I have other videos where I go slower, but we're going to get moving here today. Let's get this in here. Please have your safety goggles and a mask on. You do not want to breathe the fumes. Once it's done off-gassing and there's no more fumes coming off, you know you're fine to breathe around it, but just be cautious. And I'm going to stir this until I don't feel any grit, until all of the lye is completely dissolved. And this is getting so hot, it will melt that silk up easy peasy, no problems. I don't know if you can see on camera, but the steam is coming off. Love the chemistry. This gets really hot. So again, be cautious. All right, I don't feel any more grit. I'm going to go put this in an ice bath, and then we will get to our base soap oils. All right, and before we get to measuring our oils, I wanted to show you, I get asked a lot, how do I clean my blender in between colors and things? So I just have this pitcher full of nice hot water straight from the tap, a couple of drops of dish soap in here, and it just sits off camera. You can't see it up there, but if I need to change colors or when I'm all done blending, I throw this in there and it just keeps the soap on here soft. It lets me rinse it off in between colors, and that way when I'm all said and done and it's time to do dishes, it makes this much easier to clean. I can also throw spatulas in there. So there's a little pitcher of water off screen. Well, actually you can kind of see it today. Anyway, that's what I do with my blender. All right, let's get to the soap recipe. The first oil, the soaping staple, coconut oil. I need 25 ounces or 709 grams of coconut oil. All right, and my next oil is lard, and that is rendered pig fat, which is lard. Tallow is beef or deer. I think technically there's a couple other animals for tallow. This is lard. And every time I make a lard soap recipe, I get asked, what can I substitute it with? And the answer is, you can substitute it with another hard oil, but you're going to have to run the numbers through soap calc because lard has its own saponification value. So I can't give you an oil that you can swap it out with and keep the lye ratio the same. You have to run the numbers. If you're going to change the recipe, you got to be able to use soap calc. So that's my answer to that. So I need 30 ounces or 851 grams of lard. All right, and our last hard oil today is shea butter. I get it in bulk, love shea butter in soap. I need 5 ounces or 142 grams of shea butter. And then I'm going to give these a quick pre-melt and we'll come back with the liquid portion. All right, we are back for the liquid portion and I have castor oil. I need 5 ounces or 142 grams of castor oil. And our next oil is olive oil. I need 20 ounces or 567 grams olive oil. And our last oil today, I'm going to use grapeseed oil. And I did get questions. Some people have had issues with dreaded orange spots, and I have never had an issue using it in a lower percentage. I'm going to do 15%, so 15 ounces or 425 grams of grapeseed oil is going in here. All right, there it is. This is the base of the recipe. And to this, I'm going to add my dry additives. We're going to do the kaolin clay and the colloidal oats today because I just think they add a little something special to the bars, and I love it. So I'm going to use my full 2 tablespoon scoop here of each of these because this is a nice big batch. And it can even be, let's do a big heaping. That's the kaolin clay. Can't have too much clay. I love the stuff. And it really gives a nice slippy feel to the lather. I think it just feels good on the skin. So now I want to get this all blended up and let the dry ingredients kind of absorb in the oils while I wait for the lye solution to finish cooling off. We are back and we're almost ready to get going. I just want to show you I have all my colors pre-mixed in a little bit of water, so they're all ready to go. And I can do that because I work with a steep water discount. This is a 28% volume, so that's how I do it. I also have my titanium dioxide off to the side. There's got little ball bearings in there, if you can hear, like marbles. And I have this pre-made, so I just grab it and shake it and squeeze it. So it's 1 part water-soluble TD to 2 parts water. That's what's in the jug here. And I've got my hanger off to the side. So everything's prepped and ready to go. The fragrance is in here. I fragrance today at 5%, but please look up whatever fragrance you're using. They are not all the same, so you can't just flatly do it. You have to look up whatever it is, even if that's an essential oil. Look up your usage rate. You'll be happy you did. So now, this is all cooled. I took the temperature a few minutes ago. I'm working at about 80 to 85 degrees on the oils. That's Fahrenheit on the oils and the lye. So I'm happy with that. I like to soak between 80 and 100 degrees is kind of my comfort zone. And they don't have to be exact. Like if this was 80 and this was 100 or vice versa, I would still go ahead and roll with it. So let's get to it. are back. It's been about 24 hours since we got this soap in the mold, and I wanted to show you my setup to force this through gel phase. And gel phase is just simply speeding up the process of the cook of the soap, the saponification process, similar to what you're doing when you do a hot process soap and you're cooking it. It just helps the cook along. It's not necessary. I like gel phase and some people don't. You can just leave your soap out on the counter and it will do its magic without all this. But this is how I do it. So I just have an inexpensive little blanket I throw over the top. My large mold has a wooden lid. I love this. And look at the gorgeousness. Love. Okay, and so this is sitting on top of a very simple heating pad I got on Amazon. So the way I do it is I put my mold with the wet soap on top of here. I turn it up to high and I let it sit for about an hour covered with the blanket so it builds a little heat mass. Then I come down and I turn this off and walk away, and it just sits like that overnight and it forces gel phase, which I like. So that's how I do gel phase. I get asked a lot, so there you go. Also, some other ways to do gel phase is if you have an oven with a pilot light, you can just leave the pilot light on or the light in your oven and put this in there because ovens are nice and insulated, and let it sit overnight. Don't turn the oven on while it's in there, but sitting with a pilot light on will typically force it through gel phase, so that's another way to do it. But all that being said, this looks so beautiful and happy. It smells juicy and wonderful. So let's get it out of the mold and see how those swirls are looking on the inside. Are back with the lovely Olga, and I'm excited to see how these swirls came out. Now this was a slow moving fragrance, which meant I had plenty of time to work. I'm hoping the colors didn't get too muddied up inside, but there's only one way to find out, and that's to cut this bad boy and get in here and see what we've got. I think they're going to be great. But another word on a slow moving fragrance is you can wait an extra day or two to cut it because it's going to be a little soft, or it could potentially be a little bit soft the next day. So waiting another day or two before cutting is totally fine, even with the sodium lactate. Oh my word, pretty, pretty, and swirly. And that's what my sister asked for, pretty and girly. Girly swirl, I'm loving it. So anyway, working with a fast-moving fragrance gets a harder bar the next day, slow-moving fragrance, but in the end, they cure out the same. So if your fragrance is slow-moving, it won't make for a softer bar after the cure time. I hope that's I hope I'm making that make sense. And these swirls are divine, and you can see all three colors. I'm loving it. Well, 4 colors if you include the white part. Oh, swirly and pretty. I think they're going to love these. Love, love. And it smells juicy and good. So if you had a really intricate pattern design that you wanted to do, like a wood grain pour or something, using a citrus scent or a slow-moving fragrance is a great benefit to a fancy and intricate swirl. Like for this with 3 different colors in there, you want to be careful with the fragrance you're selecting so you don't have a super fast-moving one that keeps you on your toes too much. But this is great, and I could have waited a little longer and then the swirls would have been a little more distinguished also. So the looser the batter is when you swirl, you're going to get a much more fluid and potential of muddying up. You can see where the colors sort of blended, and if you wait till the batter is a little thicker, your colors will be very distinct. So that's something to keep in mind too if you have a particular design in mind. All right, let's get into our center loaf here. I am super happy with how these came out. I think my sister is going to love them. Everything good. Oh, these swirls. I am very happy with the color combo and everything. And we might get some swirly patterns at the end. I will show that. I love to do my swirly patterns. So again, I did want to talk about things like if you don't want to have a lard soap recipe, if you want a vegan soap, or you have tallow and not lard. So being able to run the numbers through soap calc is really going to benefit you if you are a soap maker. It really puts the power in your hands. If there's oil that you don't have or you don't want to use, you have an allergy, a preference, soap calc is your friend. And that goes for the fragrance too. Again, I said I fragranced at 5% today, but there are days like different fragrances that have cloves or cinnamon overnotes. A lot of times it's 2%, 3%. So looking up the value for the fragrance or essential oil you're using, if you are a soap maker, that is another thing that I really want to encourage you to do. So don't just go directly off of my recipes and try to change it up and expect the same results, because you have to know what you're doing. So there's that. So if you are a seasoned soap maker, you already know all these things, but I do have quite a few new soap makers on my channel, which I am delighted you're here, because soap making is awesome and I'm glad you're dipping your toes in the soap making pool. But learning soap calc and learning fragrant usage rates is going to be your friend. All right, let's get into our last loaf. This was a fun batch to make. Oh my goodness. Happy, happy. I like happy soap bars. They just bring a little bit of joy and a smile to my face. I hope they do for you too. Never gets old for me. I tell you what, I've been doing soap making for over 20 years and it just never gets old. I love it every single time. So these being a little bit tacky today, I'm going to wait probably till tomorrow to come in and do the beveling and the stamping and the soapy patterns for you all, you know, just because I love that. But I'm going to let these sit. I'm not going to rush it, because when they're a little bit tacky, I don't like to rush things. Stamping is a very aggressive thing and it can smush your bar. Ask me how I know. And it, you know, again, you don't have to stamp your soap. That's just something I do. I kind of have my own soap making rhythm. And as you make soap more and more, you will develop your own soap making rhythm. Like I like silk in my lye and I like the oats and the clay. All of that is just sort of my jam, but you don't have to do that. That's the thing. You can come up with your own special twist. That's your own special way of doing it, and you'll get your own soaping rhythm, if you will. So I hope you explore soap making if you're new to it. There's so many options and just endless designs and possibilities. You can just go all over the place with soap making, and I love that. And you get a usable product. So it's just so good. Everything's good about it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you give the recipe a try and have a wonderful day.